Welcome to another video, guys. Today we're gonna be talking about Burn Mage and the new inclusion it has, because this makes the deck feel so much better. In this video I'm gonna give you a quick guide about it, talk about mulligans, win rates, and general tips, so you guys have a better idea of what you could be doing with, as well as what to expect against it. So I hope you find the video helpful, and if you do, a like and a subscribe would be great. But now, let's check out the guide.
You are not prepared!
Here's the list I used, and the main new inclusion would be a couple of tunneling Geomancers, and these bad boys basically for 2 mana in the prior turns allow you to drop this guy down to 0 mana quite easily, so you can actually be basically even OTKing people if you have the right cards. Having yourself +2 spell damage for 0 mana really does amp up your damage, because you have so many spells that actually doubled it from spell damage. Things like Arcane Flow take the spell damage twice, things like Scorching Winds actually deal twice the amount of damage as well. Heck, even Arcane Barrage could be counted as such, and same can be said for Sleet Storm. So all of these spells getting twice the spell damage really does amp up the damage high. Other than that, the rest of the list looks pretty standard. You do have yourself the good aggressive early game curve with elementals, and you do have quite a lot of burn spells, and that really is a perfect storm against most decks. Going through the cards, we have a couple of First Flames, which are fire spells which you could be using to actually discard for your Scorching Winds. It's also a card you get to draw out of your Living Flames. The Sizzling Cinder is a great turn 1 play for you, giving you a lot of tempo and early game damage. The Sleet Storm is a great way to be handling the board while connecting face or just connecting minions, and you could technically even kill a free health minion with this thing if you target it, because the 1 damage always goes to a minion if that's the only minion on the board. It is a frost spell, however, even though it kind of looks like a fire spell, it ain't. The Violet Spellwing is another great minion to be plopping down early on, gives you a decent spell with which you can get a little bit of extra damage. Blood Mage Thanos is another spell damage minion which also gives you a bunch of card draw, so all around not the worst. With Frostbolt you can definitely control the board nicely. A lot of decks do like to have weapons in them, so freezing the opponent's face could really cockblock him nicely. With the Leading Flame you get to draw your good fire spells with things like Smoldering Grove, the First Flame, the Scorching Winds, a couple of Fireballs are also in here, that kind of stuff. The Raincaller is another great minion with which you could really snowball out of control. A lot of enemies are not going to have a great time dealing with a 4 health minion super early, and this thing can really start connecting face nicely if you have yourself a good amount of spells with which you get to amp it up turn after turn. Single copy of Smoldering Grove is going to help you nicely with the card draw. With the Arcane Barrage you're going to get a good amount of base damage as well as controlling the board, and you could be using the main damage for something on the board and the rest can go to face, but don't forget only a single tick of the damage can go face. Conjured Bookkeeper is another great minion with which you get the card draw a lot. Just make sure to actually play an elemental beforehand so you can actually get 2 of them, which is also going to give you twice the amount of spells too. The Scorching Wind, pretty good, but if you have both in hand you do run the risk of discarding one from the other, but it is a great 3 mana spell with which you get to deal Fireball worth of damage, and even a lot more with a bunch of spell damage. Like this thing is going to be dealing 12 damage for you very easily for the most part. Tunneling Geomancers would be best to be prepped on turn 2 or later, so you can actually spend 2 mana to drop it down to 0. Don't forget prep discounts the amount of mana you have left +1, so for 2 mana only you get to drop it down to 0 nicely. And don't forget you only get to prep a card a single time, so doing it on turn 1 thinking you can do it another time later on is not gonna work out. Arcane Flow, really amazing spell, especially if you manage to combo it back on, and I still am having a hard time understanding when does this thing have even more spell damage. Like, I think if you put down Geomancer before this thing combines, it actually does get the spell damage a second time, but I'm still not a master at figuring out how these shattered cards work. If somebody has a straightforward formula, please drop it down in the comments, because I still get confused and sometimes I think we have lethal but we don't. But yeah, it's a great way to deal a ton of damage to the opponent's face twice, and the rest of it does deal damage to everything else on the enemy's board. Sometimes you even have to use it one after the other, like the AoE part is usually very valuable, so you could be using it just for the sake of killing the opponent's board. Archmage Calic is an amazing minion you get to drop, gives you the +1 spell damage on all spells in your deck and your hand, but not spells you generate, aka from things like First Flame. The second half is not gonna have +1 spell damage unless it already was in your hand, that kind of stuff. We also have Fireballs, which are definitely not that amazing, but they are a fire spell, so you could be using it to discard the Scorching, or you could be using it just for straight out damage later on. It's not the best damage per mana, but it's still a decent amount of damage from hand. And lastly we have Xavius, with which you could be getting yourself some important minions. Like, imagine getting yourself something like a second copy of a Tunneler, for instance, that'd be pretty nice. Double Battle Cry from Calic, and so on and so forth. Definitely plenty of good beneficial dark gifts out of him, albeit a little bit on the slow side. Matchup-wise, here's what we have. Some popular matchups are not going to be that great for you, like Spell Demon Hunter, even though it's not as often on the ladder now. Face Hunter as well could be said the same thing. Mirifera Druid could be a little bit too defensive. Aggro Druid is not that popular nowadays, but it used to be a bad one. Herald and Unholy Death Knight also not that great. Silverhand Paladin apparently too. Control Priest could be a problem, even though it's a pretty easy matchup. If you just OTK them, it's not really that hard. And most rewards are also going to be kind of sucky for you, but if you guys saw my latest top 5, this deck is actually 56+% win rate for the last few days, so definitely nothing to scoff at. Mulligan-wise, here's what we have. Going first, you are going to be looking for your good cheap minions, like Violet Spellwing or Sizzling Cinder. Curving into Calic could be great. The Living Flame is amazing. Raincaller, Conjured Bookkeeper, especially if you already have a good turn 2. Arcane Flow can also be an amazing keep, especially if you have a couple of cheap cards already to hold on to. Smoldering Grove ain't the worst against slower matchups like Priest and Druid. Tunneling Geomancer could also be a consideration. Basically, for a turn 2 you get to prep it, but personally I don't think I'd ever hold it. On the coin, again, plenty of the same deal. Try to curve in with your good early game minions and Arcane Flow. That would be the gist of it. That's pretty much it about the deck. Hope you enjoyed the guide, and if you did, you know what to do. But now let's check out some of my games on my road back to top legend with it. Hope you enjoy.
Jaina versus Denatrius. Let your penance begin.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Is not always
Fresh as fuck,
the
boy.
answer.
Fresh as fuck. That's a curve. Cut is fresh. For real, for real. Hinge. Well, I guess I'm gonna prep it. 1 mana spell power. Take those. Two Geomancers. Better than no Geomancers, probably. This guy might be egg weight, things are going. Kinda looks like he... Kinda looks like he...
Gone with the wind, Lord.
Speak to me.
Oh man.
Nightmares are never forgotten.
Crap, dark gifts, but good minion.
Let the pain speak to me.
Still no egg out of the guy.
Arcane might defends Avalon. Feel devastation.
Poor eggless bastard. Bitch. Oh, he got it. Had it all along, matter of fact. Matter of fact. Would have been nice if we can prep a card multiple times, but would have been OP, I guess. Turn 9 is where we can really dish out a good chunk of damage. 12 plus 14 would be 26. Problem is he keeps on doing things.
What to do? What to do?
I gotta go for a good chunk of damage right now. Could have done it a bit better, leaving him with a fully healed egg there, but didn't matter much. GG, we win. Wait a minute, I don't think we won. I think it's one off. One flipping off in it. One flipping off in it. Sad. Literally sad. Well, he was at 24, but no, 25 is what he was at. Sad Ginus. Real close that one, but you'd be like that. I don't know. Maybe prepping the second one a turn later could have been better, but at the time it felt right. Honestly, hero pairing would have been a bit safer for him, but I guess that would have also potentially bought us a turn. That's not bad. Holding on to a Grove against a potentially fast deck might not be so bright though. Especially with a generating hand like this. You can play that game, it seems.
Warcraft and peace.
It's like a mirror to me. That and that. Oh man. That might end poorly for me. Piece of shit. Yeah, have I ever asked something out of you, Hearthstone? Like, fuck me.
We hunger for vengeance.
Wow, that was stupid.
Your fate is twisted with ruin.
Not feeling too hot. He has the shattered card on shot. No, actually, he doesn't have it on shot. Does now. Not enough, apparently.
You know that, Cobalt.
Close. Nice top kick we did there. Closer than it should have been.
Jaina versus Valera.
The dream must be protected.
That's a hand.
Not always the answer.
Against the rogue, too. That ought to do it. I'm old, what can I say? That's a curve. That's as curvy as they get. X.
too soon.
The true masters draw close.
I'd rather do this. If I don't, who will? I'm actually gonna trade that.
I will transcend this world.
Be mana efficient about it. These guys don't heal much. Unless Sinistra has other plans, but she shouldn't.
The true masters draw close.
Next turn he gets to pump one out. If he has one. Both turn or Sinistra. I can deal 6 damage next turn. 15 damage total. Maybe the board remains, so that means he's dead if he doesn't do some right, like a backstab or some. Uses the coin.
You know Ted Cobalt.
On bullshit. I guess. I don't think this 3-2 is ever gonna connect face no more, so again, let's be mana efficient about it. I should have probably targeted the minion with the 3-2 so that the 5-2 connects instead so we can draw spells. That don't do shit, bud. He knows we have the shot cards. But probably would have been better to cycle. Especially given backstab's a card, but then again 3 damage is also a card.
Jaina versus Tyrande.
You give me strength. Peace is not always the answer.
Geomancer is going to be important against these fucks. I don't think I care too much about the Sizzling Cinder against these. Might as well do this on turn 1. It was an elemental, which might be important if I get the Conjured. I will need a 0 mana against these guys though. It's gonna be an OTK style game. All we gotta do is live till turn 8, 9, something like that, and get a good amount of spells in hand. Another Geo. The chip damage we deal right now really doesn't matter much. We just need to not fall on the board too much. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this again. Playing the elemental is kinda okay, but Next turn we're playing this guy, so even if we top deck the Conjured, we're not gonna be too happy. Hey, look at that chip damage not mattering. I'm as surprised as you aren't. Okay, +3 on all of our spells is gonna be pretty nasty, especially on things like Scorching Winds and Shot Spell.
From the eye.
Keeping the Elemental here just for the sake of potential Conjureds in a couple of turns. We really need the Conjured against this guy. Wouldn't mind getting the Living Flame, the Smoldering Grove. We need a ton of card draw. Still do this, but not much more than that. I could have dropped him severely low. If we top deck the Shatter spell next turn, if he doesn't heal much, he's actually kinda in danger. Problem is, he's probably gonna heal back to full, as he does. The 5/4 living is kinda funny here. He is gonna kill the 4/1 with the Eternal Firebolt and heal back to full basically. So yeah, probably should not have wasted much. That's a good top kick. I don't think I want to be wasting this. Would be nice to get the Smoldering Grove out of the free too. Or otherwise. Xavius could be okay. There's the shop cards. So we are close to dealing stuff against this guy. Literally next turn we can kind of drop almost the whole thing. Gotta be careful, because he can also slap us. Get rid of this so I can unshatter easily. Technically speaking, I didn't need to do it. Not having the Conjured Bookkeepers definitely sucks. Smoldering Grove. I think I need to let it fester a little bit. How much damage do we possess right now? 12. 18.
What to do? What to
That's lethal, bro.
You no Ted Cobalt.
I'm a fucking idiot. That's a lot of lethal, matter of fact. I'm still bad at calculating how much Arcane Flow is gonna actually deal. Like, if it sees the spell damage before I unshatter the spell, does it take the spell damage twice? Because it kind of looked like it. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Nice little rank we got there. Next up, 666.